Today, I have a special guest, and what you're going to learn today is some of the answers you didn't even know exist. Like sometimes in life, you get stuck and you don't know what's wrong. You try different strategies and nothing is working for you. You feel like your health is dragging. You feel like maybe your business is dragging, or you just feel like another part of your life is not going as you want it to go. The word is unfulfillment. You're doing everything, but you're just unfulfilled. Today, we're going to talk about those things. If you feel like you're stuck, plateaued, unfulfilled in your life, business, health, wealth, today my guest is going to walk you through the most effortless way to think through it and to go through it without the hustle and grind. I met this guest a few months ago when I was troubled with a client of mine. I had a client who was super successful. We'd done multiple six figures with her at the moment, at that time, and something changed in her life and she just got stuck. She got stuck in business and then she got stuck in her health. The doctors tried everything they would, and she was just deteriorating day by day by day by day. This bothered me so much. And I started looking into this. Like, why wasn't she recovering? Why wasn't she responding? Why wasn't anything working for her? And then I got to understand that there was something called inner healing, and people could get in their own way. And as I was researching, I met Sonita. And when I met Sonita, I thought that her work was gibberish, like Chinese. But then I couldn't make sense of why my client was struggling. And so I decided to approach Sonita. Cutting the long story short, what is happening to my client right now? Her medical records have bounced back. I saw her the other day and she's better than ever before. She's back to business, back to life, and the doctors can't tell what happened. I have been chasing Sonita down for weeks, and today I somehow managed to get her. And so I kind of want to bring her up and ask her to tell you what she does. Sonita, welcome to Best Kept Secret. First of all,
thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
I want you in a minute to tell the listener what you do, how you help people, and how they can know if they need to lean in today, if the work you're going to share is something for them. How do I know that I need to listen in, lean in to what you're saying today?
Yeah, so I am an inner work coach and I help people to transform their lives. And their businesses as well. So I've been a business coach and I'm also an inner work coach. So inner work is literally the process of you doing the work on the inner part of yourself. And it's beyond mindset. It's the inner work on the soul and the deep level inner work on your heart, your emotions, your will, and the part of you that is not seen. So it's not just mindset, let's just shift some things. It's more about let's connect to who you truly are. And as a result, uncover your true identity. And then from that place, you can build wealth, heal yourself, and really create whatever you desire in the most easy way.
Let's decipher there. Inner healing, inner work, heal yourself. What needs to be happening for me right now to kind of know I need inner work? How do I know I need inner work? What is happening to me? What is wrong with me? What are the signs that I need this work?
So the very first thing is that you come to a point in your business where it's like nothing is working. Like you're doing the things, like you're showing up, you have the strategy, and maybe the strategy actually worked at some point. But right now, it just feels like the strategy is no longer working, right? And you keep pushing and then you push, and then it's like, oh no, it's not working. So that is the first sign. The second sign is that you may be also creating wealth or success, but then it's coming with a lot of hustle and grind and you compromising a lot of things that are important to you, meaning that you're working hard and you are on the grid, like very hard working. And that's how success comes. So in the life of an entrepreneur and my clients so far, those are the two main ways. And then the third sign that you need in our work is when you create success and publicly you're successful, people are clapping for you, you're celebrating maybe the cash months and all of that, but behind the scene, you just feel like something is missing. There is an emptiness that is going on the inside. And that emptiness just can't lay your hand, like something is missing, like there should be more. Or you also have a successful career, whatever, but then your relationships are struggling. Your relationship with your parents, your partner. One big thing, though, that I can say for an entrepreneur is that you will feel stuck and then you will feel unfulfilled and you will feel like your relationships are not really working. So it's like on the scene, you will be successful. You have created to a certain level, but there's just going to be a set point, like a plateau, where you will not be able to go beyond. And in what I've discovered is that in those times, most entrepreneurs, we think that, oh, what I need is mindset. But no, you don't need mindset work. You need inner work and embodiment work, which is where my work comes in.
Wow. How did we get, like, how did you discover this work? Because when I met you a few months ago, I had no idea this work existed. So how did you, Sonita, someone from Africa, discover there was something called inner work? Take us back. How did you get started in this work?
A few years ago, I was homeless. I left an abusive relationship, and I was homeless in Cameroon with my few months old baby. My son was like 3 months old at a time. 6 months, I mean, at a time. And I was homeless. And on the 24th of December, which is my birthday, the day before Christmas, we were kicked out of our single bedroom where my son and I were staying. So I felt in that moment, I felt like I was good for nothing because like I'm not a good enough mom. I'm not a good enough human. If I was, I should be at least able to make sure that I have it. My son has a place to stay on Christmas Day, on my birthday. I'm out in the street. I have nowhere to go. So I really felt like I'm good for nothing. And on that day, I remember thinking, I'm really good for nothing because I'm not good enough. Because if I was good enough, his dad wouldn't have left me. That day just confirmed everything that I thought. I'm not good enough. That's why I was abused. I am not good enough. And because of that, being kicked out of the house and being on having nowhere to go with my son, I remember looking at him and not even having anything for him to eat. And I said to myself, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove his dad wrong. I'm going to prove this landlord will kick me out wrong. I'm going to prove to them that this girl, that they are walking, I'm going to prove them wrong.
There's a man in your life who decides, you decide to walk out, or from what I'm hearing, there's a man in your life, you decide to walk out of that marriage because you thought it was abusive. You're now by yourself. You have this little baby and you can't support the child because you have no food, you have no money. And you're like, I'm good for nothing. I need to show my child that I can support them. I don't need to be in this stage. But most likely in your heart, you're saying, I need to prove everyone wrong about me. This man, whoever thinks I'm good for nothing, I'm going to go become successful so I can prove them wrong. Like, is that what happened there?
Yes, that is what happened. So on that day, on the conscious level, it looked like you don't have a place to stay. Like, this is hard, you know? But at the subconscious level, I made a commitment that this landlord, I'm going to prove him wrong. He made the wrong decision. And few years or months from now, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I didn't just know how and I didn't want to know how, but I'm going to prove all of them wrong. Everybody that they are wrong. He was wrong for kicking me out. My ex was wrong for cheating on me. My parents were wrong for questioning me. Everybody, I'm going to prove you wrong. So and that day, I decided, okay, I'm going to search for online jobs because I went and stayed in a 1-bedroom with like 7 others and my son. And we were barely surviving and it was a very challenging time. And I started searching online jobs for stay-at-home moms because I didn't have nobody to leave my son with. So I wasn't qualified to apply for any job. So here am I searching online and I come across this website where there's this guest blogger who is talking about how she makes 6-figure a year doing coaching online. And she's stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, oh, no way. What is that? Like, I want to know, what is this coaching thing? Because for me, that was the first time. In my country, in Cameroon, I'm Cameroonian, and coaching is not a thing. Like, it's not even a career. It's not even one of the things. So I didn't even know what that was. So that was the first time I heard about coaching. And then as I read through it, I realized that, oh my God, I am actually good at coaching. People always come to me for advice. People always come to me for counseling. I am just this person that people always see and they're like, oh my God, you know what to say, like all those stuff. So I was like, okay, I think this is what I'm going to do because it's what I'm already good at. So with that energy and that drive that I had to succeed, I went all in and I gave myself a 30 days challenge. And I said, I'm going to change my life in 30 days. So I gave myself to information, learned everything that I could online, did the thing, all the free stuff, everything, and took my friend's phone because I didn't have a phone at the time. And I used that phone. I showed up. I'm like, I'm going to change my life using social media, using all these things that I've learned. And 30 days later, like on the 20th day of that challenge, I had made that $9,500.
Wow.
For the first time, it felt like for me, that was a sign that I was good enough. That was a sign that, yes, I'm good for something. And then it's like, you know what? This drive, we're just going to keep going. We have to keep going. So from that point on, I was driven in my business. And the first year, by the end of the year, my first year, I made six-figure. And the second year in business, I had made multiple six-figure. Now, this is from Africa, English, second language. And I'm using literally 3G internet connection because I was in a war zone in my country. So I was driven to go against all odds because I believed that I could change my life. But at the time, I didn't know that this drive was beyond just self-belief. I didn't know that this drive for success, to attain success, was beyond like just, oh, I believe in myself, I can do it. So I attained success and I was successful in my business. And I got to a place where, we are celebrating 100K cash months and then 50K cash day. And then I remember the day I made $50,000 in my business for the first time. And I looked at my account and all the while, I just wanted to feel like I'm good enough. Like I am enough. Like with this success, with everything that I've created, I am enough. But regardless of the success, I still felt like shit on the inside. Publicly, I looked like I was successful. Everybody was clapping. I am this super coach from Africa. I was defying the odds and all of that.
So you're in Cameroon. How much is 100,000 in Cameroon? Because I want people to have context, because where I come from, 100,000 is 370 million. Not even the president is making that kind of money. Not even the biggest party in the country is making that kind of money. So you're now making 100 grand. How much is that in Cameroon money?
$100,000 in Cameroon is 60 million right now, 60 million of CFA. And here's what I want you to know. Nobody in my family literally earns like 500,000 a month. And I mean, in my bloodline. So for me, it was like I'm breaking the generational pattern in my bloodline. Like I am called to, and I've always had that leading, I'm called to break the financial pattern in my bloodline. So for me, it was so like, wow, like, my God, this exists. Like, oh my God. Like, so I didn't know that wall existed until I made 9,500. And that was literally like 5 to 6 million. And in 20 days, and my life changed. So with that drive, I was like, oh my God, so there's this, I'm going to keep going. So I kept going. And like I said, going fast forwarding, everybody was like, wow, you're amazing. This is successful. Like I was receiving the praise online. I was famous. But then behind the scene, again, I felt like I was struggling because I got to a place in my business that I was stuck. I was feeling like I am trying so hard to make it. I am trying so hard to break through an income ceiling. I'm trying so hard to, and nothing is working. It's like nothing is working again. And I just want to repeat those 100K months. I wanted to repeat those 50K cash months, and nothing was working at a time. And same for my clients. My clients, I have clients who actually hit those high, like 150K day, but then she can't repeat it. So I was like, what is happening? And the more I try to want to repeat that success, the more I try to go against that stuckness, the more I felt drained, and the more I started feeling empty, unfulfilled, unhappy, and my mental health was draining.
So you made this money, there's like jumps, and then you can't do it again. So your first frustration is coming because you've made 50K in a day, but you can't repeat it.
Yeah.
You've made 100 grand in a month, but you feel like you're not able to repeat it, and you hustle and grind and try to get that, and it's not happening, and you're like frustrated. Okay, keep going.
So from that frustration came this like burnout, because I was trying too hard to do it. And then from there also I kept feeling like something is missing. Like even with this success, I look at my bank account, I look at the money, I remember the months, I look at when the money came in, and it's like, I don't feel any different. I still feel like I'm not good enough. I still feel like I'm shitty, despite the success, despite the public, but behind the scene, I was struggling. I remember how I would wake up at night and I would just cry. I remember how I would not even be able to sleep. Like I would just feel like somebody is chased, like I would just feel like I'm not safe. So my internal world was chaotic. Publicly, the clap, the happiness, the likes, the fame, the growth on social media and all of that. But then I was like, no. So my transformation happened when as a result of all of that unhappiness and all of that, I started using food to buffer my emotions. So I used food I was overeating and binge eating in order to try to suppress my emotions in order to feel better. And then I did more stuff. I traveled to the first class, bought my dream car, lived in my dream villa, and all of that. But I still feel nothing changed.
First attempt was, okay, I have money, I could just do more things. I could just buy more food. I could just buy more house. I could just have a better house. You went into the material and started buying things to feel better about yourself, because now you have money. And so you just wanted to feel less empty, if I can say that. Okay. Yeah. And where did that end?
So I did all the stuff. Honestly, I bought my dream car. Like I said, I traveled first class, stayed in the best hotels. And what I noticed is that I would sit in this beautiful hotel, in 5-star hotels here in Dubai, and I'll look around, and then I still feel like shit. Nothing changed. So I started eating. I just eat and eat and eat. And each time I feel the void and that emptiness, I will use food to try to fill it up. And at the time, I didn't know that was what I was doing. I just thought that I was eating. And as a result, I actually went really gained so much weight, and I was literally really overweight. And at the time, I was so lonely because I couldn't even attract someone who will commit. I couldn't attract a partner who was emotionally available. And the person that I was seeing at the time, I remember him looking at me. I was like, "You're overweight. You need to lose some weight." And for me, I was really triggered. That triggered the heck out of me. I was like, "What? What are you saying? Like, how dare you? How dare you talk about my body? How dare you tell me my body's not good enough? How dare you say I am not good enough? How dare you talk about my body?" But I was so triggered, and I decided, okay, you know what? I'm done. You're not even good enough for me. I'm not going to stay in this. Okay, I'm going to go take a coaching program, because I was always investing in myself in order to learn how to attract a partner, a healthy masculine partner, and a wealthy, successful partner.
Okay, I'm digesting this. You're dating someone who you think actually likes you, and they tell you you're fat. That's not funny for any woman. But no, then you decide you're getting rid of him. It was so painful for you. You decide, I'm done. Like, you can't call me fat. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of this relationship, you decide, now I want the dream man who will see me in my righteousness or whatever. Okay.
Exactly. So that is when I joined this mastermind. And at the time, the ladies were talking about how men are taking care of them and all of these things. And I'm like, what is that? Like, I've always worked for myself and I've always been like the provider and I'm successful. I prove myself and we were going through one meditation on the sessions and I just couldn't go do the meditation. And I closed my eyes. I just couldn't. And the coach later was like, Sonita, what came up for you? And I was like, sorry, nothing. And that is when she was like, if nothing came up for you, then why? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm dirty. I should not be looking at myself and doing all of these things. And she said, I think you need inner healing work. Have you ever thought of that? And I was like, no, I'm healed. I'm healed. I don't need these things. I need you to get me a man. I want to get a relationship. I want to attract
hold on there. Are you telling us that you were unable to meditate? Was it your first time to meditate? What was wrong with the meditation? Why did you resist the meditation? What were you? I don't want to be creepy, but like.
Okay. So first of all, I was so disconnected to my body. I was so much in my masculine energy, which I'm going to talk about later. And I was so much in my head. So being able to close my eyes, I was on survival mode, right? Which is the state of the brain that you get into when you're high on stress and high on cortisol, and you've been on that state for a long time. It becomes like you're an addicted state. So it's difficult for you to disconnect from that hustle, grind, and just connect to yourself. So the first reason was that closing my eyes for like, just like, come on, like you're wasting my time. So that was the first thing. It was difficult. I couldn't just keep the focus. I had a very hyperactive brain. My brain was always active. I only wanted to do something. So overly masculine, that was the first reason. Now, the second thing that it triggered is that I closed my eyes to do that because it had to do with something feminine energy kind of meditation, since this was attracting masculine men program. And she was doing this meditation that required us to literally bring our attention to our body part, which is like the female private part. And for me, closing my eyes and going there, it felt dirty. It felt so uncomfortable. I felt like that's dirty. I felt like I'm dirty. I don't want to do this. Like, so because I brought my attention to it, which I have never done in my lifetime, because in childhood, I actually experienced some molestation and rape and all the abuse thing. So in that moment, I didn't know that it had anything to do. I just knew that, oh no, I can't look down there. That's dirty. Like, why would that's so unholy. That's so, first of all, unrighteous. Like, that's no place. So that's what it triggered in me. And then when she heard me talk, like, but why didn't you? And I explained to her, first of all, I'm a Christian. That's like a sin. And I'm dirty. That's so, all of those things. She was like, I think you really need to do some inner healing work. And resistance came. I was like, no, I don't need that. Because I already forgave my ex, because to me, healing was literally, I thought healing was mindset work. I thought that healing was shifting your perception on things. I didn't know that healing was more of a body experience and then transcending an identity as a whole, more than just belief, surface level work, conscious work. So that is when I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I went on a whole journey.
So now you realize there's something called inner healing, and maybe you need to do some inner healing. And just like me, you're hearing gibberish. Amazing. So how did you come from that, hearing gibberish, to now being the person who's doing this work happily? Like, what happened there?
Oh my God. So I was like, okay, so do you know, like, after going through the resistance and then sitting back with my body, and I'm like, no, but I feel like I really need this. It feels like there's something I'm suppressing, and I've been suppressing because there's this heaviness I feel on the inside. And that is when I'm going on a journey to heal myself. And that's how she recommended me to a mentor. I joined the mentor and then did my own inner healing work, and oh my God, it changed my life. And from there, I got certified as a spiritual psychology coach. So I could also help people with their own trauma and all of that. And then, as a result of doing that work, I actually learned that, wait, it's not just trauma. I was in my survival mode and masculine energy all this while. So that is also how I learn now, okay, I need to embrace my feminine energy and learn how to do business from a feminine place as a woman, and not from the hustle and grind culture, which we have been taught, and measuring success and defining success based on what the world has defined it to be, and how our self-worth and all of this is attached to it. But coming back home to who we truly are, at a place where we are whole, complete, and healed on the inside. And then from that healed, complete, and aligned place, you can then create exponential wealth.
What's the difference between the masculine and the feminine way of building success? What's the difference?
All right. So I think that more than us calling it masculine energy, I would say, because it's both, from my work so far, I've realized that it's both for male and female. It's about creating success from a wounded place. It's more about you being driven and fueled by trauma to succeed, to create success, that you create that success in a way that is out of alignment to who you truly are. So this means that if you're feminine, the way you go out of alignment is being masculine, right? So it's being like how I was, you're overly on survival. So if you want to understand, first of all, you want to understand that the feminine and the masculine energy. So the feminine energy is the inner core energy of the female, which is more of the energy that has to do with flow, that has to do with ease, and that has to do with the heart, right? And then the masculine energy is the energy of doing, right? So feminine energy is the energy of beings, flow, ease, the heart, emotion, connection to the body, and all of that. Masculine energy is the energy of doing, which is the energy of the head, the energy of leadership, structure, and all of that. So with this polarity, everything that exists on this earth has this polarity. And every human being has it. So the male has it, and the female has it as well. So what happens is that when a woman is out of alignment to who she really is as a result of trauma or as a result of some wounding, she embodies an identity that is not really who she is. She is at the soul level. And as a result of that disconnect, she might create surface level success that looks good on the outside, but it feels like it makes her unhappy. It feels like shit on the inside. I feel like I am not happy, and it's not even coming with the ease that I want. So when someone is foiled by trauma, how do you know someone is foiled by trauma? They are driven to succeed regardless of what. And at the deep down, at the core, there's a need, there's an attachment that comes. There's this need of self-worth that comes because of how much they've made. And you see this all the time online, like coaches like, okay, I've made this amount, and sharing screenshots of like, okay, I've made this. And without all of that, it's like they are not their person, their identity, their worth, and their good enoughness or their ability to be loved is questioned. So it's when someone is creating success from a wounded place, they are creating success. They are fueled by a need to either prove someone wrong or to get their emotional needs met that were not met by their parents when they were growing up. Wow. So this means that, for example, if someone grew up in a household where they were only celebrated when they did good in school, or they were only rewarded when they did good in school. As a child, they learn that, okay, I need to do good in order to have my need met. So they grow up and they become overly achieving or overly like driven to succeed. And they are fueled by that, those emotional needs that they need, because we all have emotional needs, and they want to succeed so that they use that to feel their emotional needs. And for me, that was the case. I wanted to succeed because I believe that success means being lovable. I'm going to be accepted. Nobody's going to reject me anymore. I'm not going to feel like I'm good enough anymore because I'm successful. But then I didn't realize that success, my identity, my self-worth, all of this wasn't attached to anything. It has to be attached to who I am. So when you see someone like doing things like, just a lot of people who like attach their self-worth to the things that they've achieved, that's one way you're going to know. And for a woman, she will get out of alignment. Like I said, she'll get out of alignment in her business. She'll just be doing the things that she's told to do because that is the way, like that is the secret. And even if it's not what her soul wants, she goes out of alignment in order to create that success. So what needs to happen is that she needs to deconstruct and get back into alignment. It's like, okay, who am I? What am I here? Like, who am I and how am I designed to do and create success? So most men who go in the masculine way of creating success is because they are using that masculine success to meet their emotional needs and their childhood needs that were unmet by their parents. So they are fueled by trauma. And what the trauma is that the trauma can fuel you until it doesn't fuel you anymore. You get to that place where the trauma stops fueling you, and then you no longer have fuel. And this is where most women burn out in their jobs. They're like, okay, I'm tired. I've been working so hard. I just can't keep going. I'm no longer have motivation because now they have that success. They have that thing. And then they are still seeing like, no, this is not like, this is not changing anything. And I'm instead burning out. I'm instead draining.
I want to kind of recap there because I feel like I had an aha moment. You can be very successful until you're not.
Yes.
The wrong thing can fuel you until it can't. You can be pushed by the wrong motivation until it gives in. And at that point, you feel like you've plateaued. You feel like you're unhappy. You feel like despite the success, maybe your love is going sideways. You feel like despite the success, you're just not happy. Or you feel like you're always grinding, hustling, trying to prove yourself. Or you feel like if the money you have went right now, you'd be nobody.
Yes.
I like it. Like I now think I understand what it means when someone is building out of alignment and they're very successful, and one day, whatever the trigger is, stopped serving them, and they're like, how did I get here? What was the secret? What was the magic? What did you find finally that is so beautiful, which is exactly what you took Florence through, which I want you to share with people. What did you take her through? Like, how did you get her from her body shutting down to now she's gained weight, she's glowing. I haven't seen Flo in a dress in 10 years. She's now wearing dresses. She's now smiling. She's now, the doctors are saying, how have your results jumped? And she's now at a point where she's like, I'm ready to start business again. That was a year later. Take us through what you took through Florence, because I feel like Florence is a miracle. I think health is the extreme of everything. Because Sonita's work helps people with the money. If you're plateaued financially, it helps people with if you're unhappy, but health is just the extreme of it. You can be dying and not dying that medicine will heal you, but there is that internal process that will heal you. And so I want her to use that demonstration of healing, but her work is in different sections. But I think this is the extreme that I want her to explain from, so you could kind of get how powerful this work is. Yeah, take us through that process of, Florence, because she's a miracle right now.
All right. So if we're taking it from the standpoint of health, which is just one of the things or one of the areas that this work really changes people's life, because it changes in business exponentially, it will be that the first thing is really learning, like releasing the stored emotions that the person holds in their body, or the emotional, what we call the emotional blocks. So this is the process of literally going into their body and actually releasing the suppressed emotions that they held, because every emotion that is not expressed is suppressed. And when it is suppressed, it actually stores itself in our tissues. And with time, it causes inflammation, and this inflammation causes diseases. So that is the first thing. And this is the thing. Medically, most of the diseases that causes are not explained are caused by trauma. Most diseases that cannot be like medically, okay, this is a source, are caused by trauma. So you release those stored emotion, which is the first step. What happens is that your body actually, and your cells and your tissue, your body can then regenerate itself and function normally. And the second step, which is the thing that we do, is like regulating the nervous system. Because when you're fueled by trauma and you're in that survival mode and you're just hustling and grinding and chasing, what is happening is that your body is so focused on providing you your hormones for you to survive rather than hormones for your body to heal and regenerate. It's like you're in a desert, and then there's maybe a lion chasing you. In that moment, you're not thinking, okay, what is the next adventure, holiday I'm gonna go to, or you're not focused on that. You're focused on, how can I get out of here? How can I stay alive? So when you are in that survival mode and you're in that addictive hustle grind mode, what happens is that your body goes into that survival mode, and in that survival mode, your body shuts down. Your hormone, your body is no longer focused on, like, your immune system is no longer functioning normally. You're no longer regenerating cells. You're just focused on, how do we stay alive? So the second step is regulating the nervous system so that you can actually slow down, and actually your body actually come back and feel like, hey, you're safe. You're safe, and you can actually regenerate in order to heal the body, which is what we did for her, because she had a health issue. So we needed to release the stored emotion in her body that were causing her body not to function, not to respond, and all the seizures and everything that she was having. And then we had to be, okay, let's slow down your nervous system so that your body actually feels like, can actually produce the cells and the fighting mechanism. Your immune system can actually work for you, because right now it's working against you because it thinks you're in danger, even though you're not. And that is where, and this is where even like most cancers are formed, when your cells actually start fighting against your body, thinking that it's danger, because you are in that survival mode. There's cortisol, adrenaline, all these hormones secreted in your body, and your body feel like, oh, she's in danger, and it starts fighting against itself without realizing that you are not. You just created that danger because of some traumatic experiences that you had, and that you stayed in that traumatic experience for a long time.
How do I know that this might be unhealed trauma versus this is a medical procedure and I need to just wait on and hold on and wait for them? Because when I was speaking with Florence, she has no idea. She just said, maybe the doctor's messed it up and maybe we have to go to India. And I'm like, what? I'm like, and they're doctors? And she's like, I think these doctors in Kenya can't do it. And I'm like, so now what? Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to die. I said, you're not dying. If I didn't just crack my head and come to you, how would anyone would ever know that at this point, I think I am killing myself because my body is fighting me, as opposed to, this is a normal disease and the docs will just do well. When do I cut the line to know that, okay, maybe this is something that I can heal myself internally versus it's all up to the medical? Or is every disease something you can help self with, even though the medics are involved? Like, what's the line here, What's the line between the medical and that other condition?
Now, the fine line here is that, first of all, if I have to explain, like, medically, then we'll have to go into like some deep, like, body, how diseases are formed and all of that. And then you understand again that most diseases is just like because the body is in a stress state. So the very first thing, if you want to know, is like, if you are stressed in any way, like, so when it means like, if you are stressed or you're going through that condition, and then it also stresses you, it puts you in any form of stress, like your body is stressed, or you're thinking, or you're like stress, you need to do some trauma work. This is so unconventional, because in the medical field, we are told that, okay, you need to take medicine for everything, which is good. There's some medicine is helpful, but the truth is that most, like 90% from research, 90% of diseases are caused by trauma. Either trauma that you experience or trauma that your parents experienced and they passed it down to you through their gene. And this is what we call diseases that go in the bloodline. They're actually transgenerational. That's caused by trauma, because it's trauma that imprints itself on the gene, that the gene changes expression. So that is like, if you have any of those signs, then
okay, I don't mean to be all over the place, but what is trauma? Because some of us think you have to be hit by a car to go through trauma. So, like, when you said trauma, to me, who is not a genius, what you do, what do you mean? Like, what is trauma? I don't even know when trauma is supposed to worry me. am I supposed to remember every trauma I have? Does it have to be a big thing, or what is trauma?
Okay, trauma is literally anything that put you in an emotional distress. It's as little as that. It even doesn't have to be physical. The reason why we focus so much on physical trauma as the only way, for example, an accident as the only way as trauma, is because it actually affects the body and we see. But what we don't see is that what actually make it traumatic is the emotional experience and the mental experience that happened on the inside of us. So trauma is not what happened to you. It's what happened in you.
Wow.
It's what shifted in you. So for example, a little thing as I'm working with a client, and a little thing as maybe a friend giving her candy, and she's like, okay, she's a little girl and they want to give her candy. And instead of the sister or the cousin giving her candy in hand, the person threw the candy on the floor and like, pick it. And they are all playing. And to her, picking that candy being thrown on the floor for her to pick, it defined her life.
Oh.
That was traumatic to her. So it was not the fact that the thing was not, it was what happened in her when that thing happened. What happened in her emotionally and psychologically and mentally. So trauma is what happened in you mentally and emotionally, not what happened to you physically. And this is why I always say everybody has experienced some form of trauma. So you must not have been in the war zones or whatever to have experienced trauma, because everybody will have experienced trauma in some shape or form. And trauma actually controls your life because most of our beliefs comes from trauma. Because when you are in a high emotional state, in a traumatic event, let's say the example of the person who threw the candy on the floor, in that state, they were in a high emotional state. They made that mean something about themselves. They felt in a way, and then they suppressed the emotion, and then they decided some things about themselves in that moment. I'm not good enough. I can never be this, those kind of things. So you see, it's not really like, okay, this is trauma. I'm hurting you now. I'm traumatizing you. It's what happened on the inside.
Okay. So in the case of Florence, first, we get her out of the survival instinct. She's not in danger. She's safe. Second, we help her tune into her body. I'm just saying things you said. And if I say it wrong, please let me know, because I'm just paraphrasing what you said. You get her to realize, I can heal myself. When that happens, take us from there. Florence is on like step 3 now to where she is. And I'm like, whoa, what happened here? What miracle happened? So take us through that journey of hers.
Okay. So the next thing that we did for her was what we are still working on is really learn how to embrace her feminine energy and how to create from that place. And not from the hustle grind, because we live in a world that rewards masculine success. But success for a woman tastes and feels different than success for a man. And we are not designed to create success from that place. So getting her to come back in alignment with her own identity on the inside, and then embracing her feminine energy, which is a whole journey, and then learning how to slow down and create from that place, that healed place of embracing her true identity, the her that was never hurt, the her that was never wounded, the her that was never experienced any trauma, her divine identity, who she really is, the limitless self that she, and then now, okay, how do you create from this place in a way that is aligned to you? How do you build your business in a way that is aligned to you and not what you've been taught and the conditioning, and from a place that is spoiled by trauma or hurt?
Wow. I will have to make it my point to get a 5 to 10 minute clip of Florence telling you, like, taking you through her own experience of Sonita's work, because I can't explain it. So I'm going to try and get Florence on, and I'm going to have her explain how her body was shutting down and what it is now, because I feel like only her can show you the jump, which even me, I'm still shocked about.
When you look at me now, I can smile. 2 months ago, it was another story. And even just physical, 2 months ago, I think these sites were sucking. But now, I'm doing fine. And all this is because I found somebody who helped me. It's like heal from inside all the way out. First, my physical health was not okay. I was in and out of hospital all throughout a long time. I'll come, try to stabilize, to start the business again. My body will shut down. I get to hospital, get well, on medication. Few months, my body shuts down. Okay. And mentally, I was also not okay. I think I was depressed. Because at that time, I was looking at myself where there's this one person who I believe can bring out the best in me, even if nobody can see it, and that is Prima. But now Prima, she's also at the point where she can no longer help me. Okay? It's at that point when your doctor tells you, I cannot help you. Your long-term doctor tells you, I think you need another opinion. You know that feeling? That is how I felt when Prima said, I think you need somebody else to look at you. I cannot help you. And at that point is when I knew there is more than what I thought maybe it's happening. And guys, for the record, that time, I'm depressed. My health is not okay, physically, mentally. I'm bitter. I'm broke. And the business is gone. Multiple six-figure gone. All these things on my shoulder. And I meet Sonita. I remember the first day she told me, like, tell me. And then I didn't have anything to tell her. Why? I have a lot. I have a lot. It's like somebody asks you, what is wrong with you? And they expect you to give them maybe one word, but your mind is running millions of words. That was the situation where I was. I looked at her and I felt, I don't know if she can manage this. I have a whole bag.
I have a book.
Yeah, like I have a whole, yeah. My mind is set up for this. And I was really ready for change and ready to find a solution and ready to restart my life. You know, sometimes we can have all these things, but if you're not ready, you will stay in the suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at a point where I'm ready for help, please. And then we started working with Sonita. And I remember just after the first session, it felt like I just dropped one of the heavy loads off my shoulder. That is the feelings I had. And I was always looking forward for the next to the next session, to the next session, to the next session. Now, 2 months down the line, I cannot believe that. I remember how bitter I was with the people that have betrayed me along the way. I was so bitter. I cannot believe, like 2 months down the line, I let go of all those people. I forgive them and I wish them well. So, like from the bitter person, the other side now to very forgiving now. My heart is at peace. I've forgiven all those people. I've let go of all those people. Now it's just focused on me. That is one. Number two, I didn't know that I had this childhood trauma that was always hanging around my head. I didn't know. And I was so surprised. Working with her made me realize, like, I didn't know there's something called poverty trauma, I swear. Like, even if you make 6 figures, 7 figures, you must find a way to get back to zero or somewhere down here so that you can build again. You are always in a hustle mode. When there's too much, You just have to find a way to tank it. Either you'll use external people to help you bring it down, or you yourself. Survival mode.
Yeah.
So Sonita told me, I want you to get out of the survival mode and build a business that it just flows with you. That time, I was mentally not okay. I was just depressed. I could forget which day it is. I can sleep until I sleep, and when I wake up, I can't remember. Are we yet to Friday, or are we on that? Such things. I didn't want much to do with the reality. I tried as much as possible to escape or be in outlook. Like, I know I need to move from point A to point B and do something, come back. I'll do all those things, but I just don't want to be in the reality. I told Prima I was feeling like a walking dead. That's where I was.
That's bad. Man, you had even like lost all your flesh.
And even right now, I look healthy. My body was just going down with all this. You know, all these things combined, it just drains your body off. And put together all these things, all washed away. Now I handle myself with, I'm gentle on myself. I'm no longer judging myself. I'm no longer bitter with people around me. I taken the responsibility. Now I'm more grateful. Now I'm more mindful. I sent Prima a message and I told her, if there's one most precious thing that I've ever gotten from you, it's not even the 6 figures you have helped me to build. It's this one.
One connection, one introduction.
Introducing me to Sonita. Giving the right recommendation to me. This was the best gift. Best Prima here. Prima was among the people who was she didn't like woo-woo people. She's among the people who didn't believe in all this. I think Prima was one of the people who, when you tell her you are depressed, she can tell you, go jump and get serious. I think she was among those people. So even me also, I didn't know like this deeper burden can actually affect our business and all that. But now where I stand, I realize like if somebody can go inside and solve all these things, find that inner peace, then it's easier for you to build a business. Then your body automatically just heals itself. Right now, the only thing I drink is just water and some good smoothie. And I just see myself gaining weight. I see myself gaining weight in a good way because I was underweight. I just see like things getting brighter again.
I'm just surprised by your transformation, and I wanted to put this clip in for people to just kind of understand from you what this was like. You know, what are your last words for anyone listening to Sonita's interview and going, this is woo or something like that?
What I can say to anybody that has a business and you have tried different strategies, you have paid different people to help you, and still nothing is clicking. It's wise to pause and just look around. Maybe the problem is not strategies. Maybe the problem is not whatever. The problem might be within you. So I realized like the fuel I had it has taken me to a certain level, multiple six figure, but for me to go beyond, I had to refresh.
Yeah.
I had to rebuild myself to the next level now.
Mm.
So maybe you are now at a level where you are no longer, you are bringing in business, but you have plateaued. You're a coach, you're a business person in the online space, you have plateaued. The reason could be, like me, you need to rebuild yourself and get to the next level. Now have the muscle to go to the next level. And that is where Sonita comes in.
Mm.
She comes and checks from the foundation back, from the childhood trauma, all the way to where we are, to where we want to go. This is the best thing I've done for myself.
Wow.
I've done multiple six figures, but that one didn't feel fulfilling than me taking this chance, working with her to heal myself.
That's powerful.
This one is, guys, this one is priceless. This one doesn't have a price tag. I'm excited already.
Which other area can this come from? What else could be happening in my life for me to know that, I need some inner healing work? Which other area of life does this affect?
In your business, because maybe you're a business owner, you will experience, you'll be stuck. Like we understand, because everything, I feel like for entrepreneur, it comes only when you've hit that place where you feel like you're stuck, you feel like you just can't break through to the next level. And what is happening right there is that you have actually come to a place where your identity your limited identity ends. So remember, I said in traumatic experiences, events or that happened to you, you decide things about yourself, all of those things. So those things, those beliefs that are in your subconscious that you are not aware of, are actually together have formed an identity for you at the subconscious. So what happens is that you hold this identity and you are addicted to that identity. And because this has been your identity all this while, it doesn't matter how you try to change your thought on the conscious level. If you don't know what is in that subconscious and then you consciously reprogram it, what happens is that you will get to a place where the strategy is there, you're hitting, but then you just can't go beyond that. You're stagnant. You're lacking clarity. You're just confused. You're just going in, like, you're just like, I don't know. I need to get beyond this income ceiling. I need to get beyond this, but I know I can do more. My potential is bigger, but I'm unable to break. And it's because you still hold a limited identity. So what needs to happen is that when we do the deep inner work, and inner work is inner healing, self-leadership, and transcending all that limited identity as a whole, we break all those limits that you have subconsciously put on yourself and transcend that, and you supplant that with a new identity, which is your limitless self. So this is when you actually open up to unlock your next level, unlock limitless potential, and unlock your true power. Because now it's no longer I am defined by this in my subconscious, which you don't even know. Because most people are like, no, I do my self work. Like, okay. So then it's that opening and unlocking your next level that actually, like, okay, oh my God, I didn't even know this next level was for me. And then from that place, you start creating with ease because you're no longer fighting. It's like you're no longer fighting to go against yourself. Because what happens when you get stuck is that you're trying to go against yourself. Yourself is saying, no, this is who you are. You're like, no, I want this. And it's like, no. So there's that internal fight. But then when it's all removed, then you are limitless. You no longer have anything that is holding you back.
Okay. I wouldn't be fair if I didn't talk about the place that people struggle the most, which is love. How does this affect our relationship, whether that's romantic or with other people?
Well, the very first thing is that in every relationship, now I'll take the intimate relationship. Okay. In an intimate relationship, there has to be, like, we are all there to, when we have not done our inner work, we expect, it's like we want our partner to meet our emotional needs. So those emotional needs that we have from childhood, for example, let's say you grew up and maybe your dad was not present, or you experienced some trauma from your dad, or your dad was not available. People are projecting on their partner or the person in their life to be that to meet the emotional need is literally like to be the father or the mother to that inner child or that inner girl within them that was wounded. And what happens is that you see people being in relationship, for those who are in relationship where the expectation is on the other, this, I'm unhappy because you're not making me happy, you're unhappy because I'm not making you happy. And at the end of the day, because it's like I have my needs that are unmet and I want you to meet my needs. And that's in the case of codependency. And then in the case of maybe like narcissism, the other person want the other person to meet their needs because they feel like they are the most important. Why in codependency it's like, I am meeting your needs because you are more important than me. So it shows up in different ways. And I can say most people, if most people were healed, will have bad, like most marriages will be good. Because at the end of the day, you're no longer going to need a partner. You're no longer going to need someone to complete you. You're no longer going to need someone to feel good enough. You're no longer going to need your husband's joy or smile to feel like you're amazing. You're going to be complete yourself. So when you are a broken person, which is what is happening in the world, two broken people, they can't actually create a relationship because you need two whole people. And when you have trauma in your life, the truth is that you have parts of you that are broken. And people come in relationship expecting the other person to mend those parts. This is where I talk the mend my part, mend me. But it's like, no, a healthy relationship is made up of two healthy people who can meet their own needs, but they consciously choose to come together to serve each other. So
what happens if I come with trauma and my partner has trauma? And what happens if, I don't know, how do I know that I'm the problem or my partner is the problem? And what is the process of getting out of that and mending myself, hopefully making the relationship better? Yeah.
All right. The first thing is that you want to understand is that we attract who we are. A truly healthy person would not attract a wounded person because from afar, they know that and they will not. It's somebody who is wounded that is going to attract a wounded person. So I would never say, okay, look in the relationship, like unless you're in an abusive relationship, like I was in, I would say, okay, we know that this is your partner. But the truth is that in some shape or form, you are a match for that. So it's more about looking inside, like, okay, what parts of myself actually, why am I calling this in?
Why am I attracting this? Okay.
Yes. Because you will not, the truth is a healthy person will not attract an unhealthy person or not choose. They may attract, but they will not choose.
They will not choose.
They will not make the choice, which is different. Because as women, for example, we attract all kind of men, but to choose that this is the person I'm going to be with, they're not going to choose someone who is going to disrespect them, do all of that. So if all of that is happening, it's because probably you're a match for that. So why are you, first of all, tolerating someone like that? Why? What is the need that they are meeting? Why are you holding on to them?
That's a good one, because if you don't have anything, I can see what you mean. You won't attract or even keep them. If you choose them by mistake, you will release them the moment you discover that they are crossing your boundaries. I can see what you mean. You won't hold this person for long.
Totally agree.
Unless you have a problem, a hole they are feeling. Wow. How do I take care of me to be in a place where I can see it for what it is, so that maybe we can make the right decisions from there, or maybe I can be helpful to the other person if they have to do their work as well?
Okay. The very first thing is that you're going to go on a journey of your own inner healing and inner wholeness. That's the thing. Because you can meet your own needs. You can heal yourself. You can make money with it. You can do all of these things on your, like, you can actually meet your own needs. But when you are expecting another person to do it, that is unfair to them and you, right? So ask yourself, okay, in what way can I go on a journey? And what part of myself do I need to heal? Did I have an unavailable mom, unavailable dad? What do I need to heal within myself in order to be a match for something better? So it might be you need to do healing so that you can set boundaries, so that you can stop attracting maybe narcissists, so that you can stop being codependent or anything. So it's like, what parts of myself? You have to go on a journey, on your own soul journey of healing and coming back to your own true self. And until you do that, you may never actually be able to love another person. Because the truth is that people, we think that we love other people, but we are simply just trying to get our needs met.
We just need them. We don't
Yeah.
love them. We just need them, and we call that love. Whoa.
Yes.
So I heard her worker said, so what's your niche? And she was like, I don't belong in a niche. And I said, what do you mean everyone has a niche? She was like, I don't have a niche. And hopefully today you're beginning to pick up the same vibe, like she doesn't have a niche. So I want to try and recap. So Sonita was born in Africa. She got a partner at some point. The partner cheated on her. That relationship what was the relationship? Was it abusive? Was it narcissist? Was it?
Oh, it was abusive. Okay.
The relationship was abusive. She was like, I'm out of here. She had her baby. She couldn't feed her baby. She now says, I have to make money from that place of, I am angered, I'm wounded, and so I want to make money to prove the world wrong. She becomes super successful. She realizes on the inside, she feels the worth. And now she says, how can I fill this gap? She begins eating. She begins buying things. She buys a new car. She gets in her best villa, starts dating different people. And one day a partner tells her, woman, you're fat. Which wasn't a lie, but I don't think it's funny to call a woman fat. She takes that and she says, okay, I'm going to get a man who's 100 times better than you. In that process, she realizes she needed to do some inner healing. She goes down that hole. I don't know if we took you enough into that hole. I'm sure she tried a lot of things. And then she comes out on this side where she's really helping people through the same things. And according to Sonita, if you're fueled by the wrong thing, if you're fueled by that by trauma, it will support you until it can't support you anymore. So according to Sonita, you could be successful but unhappy. You could be in a marriage that is falling apart. You could have plateaued in your business despite any strategy you try. Or you could just have your health going down a very bad route and you don't know what's happening.
Or anything. So it's like, what parts of myself? You have to go on a journey, on your own soul journey of healing and coming back to your own true self. And until you do that,
what did we miss out that people need to hear before we talk about your amazing work and how you help people and where they can connect from you? Because I've had fun. I just don't know, what do we miss?
Okay, I think we said literally everything. The only thing that I'll add is saying that to anybody like listening to this, I would say do your inner work. And inner work is more than just trauma healing. Trauma healing is part of inner work. Do your inner work, because I think it's the only thing that would change your life and change the world. Because if everybody walking the face of this planet was healed, living in alignment to who they are, we will have a better world and we will have a nicer and more healthy world.
So if I have dabbed in this world, taken a class here, a session here, a session there, some of these people sell 60 minutes or 30 minutes. How do I know if I have done inner work truly, or if I have done haphazard work that I'm calling inner work?
You've done inner work where you come to a place where emotionally you feel totally free. And then you no longer have any blocks. Now, this is the myth. People are like, you cannot fully get to a place where you don't have any blocks and all of that. But what I say is that, yes, you can. So and that's the thing, you can do a lot of like little things, but until you come to a place where you have fully released and your body is fully relaxed and your nervous system is fully calm and you are truly limitless. I would say truly limitless. Like there's no limit to you and there's no limitation that comes out in your mind, in your body and all of that. Then you've not truly done it.
Wow. Sonita, where on social media, where on this planet, and I know she has a podcast, which I think is my favorite person following her. What is the best place for people to follow your work right now on the internet?
Okay, so you can go to my podcast and you search maybe on Spotify, Rich and Complete Podcast, or any podcasting platform, and we'll have conversations there. And then you can also follow me on Facebook at Sonita Nkenne. So Nkenne is Nkenne. And then on Instagram as well. So those are the places where I am online if you want to connect with me in person.
Do you offer coaching? How do you help people?
Yeah, I offer coaching. I have courses and all of that. So for anybody who is interested in coaching, you can just use, I'm offering everyone listening to this a free call to get to connect with me and then see where they are and how I can help them to change their life in the area that they need help and do their inner work and become limitless. So that is just for the people on this podcast, because as you know, I don't do free calls.
Yeah, you don't do free calls. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the password? Like, how do you know they came from here? Is there a password for them to come and say, yes, I need my session because I had you on best?
Yes. So the code that you're going to use, where on the form it says you should type more about you, you're going to use the word Primer and Sonita. And then when you use that code Primer and Sonita, I'm going to know that you come from here, because this link is just for you listening to this right now, and I'm excited to see you and to talk to you.
Who are you open to right now? Who do you want to help right now on that call?
Okay, so I work with people who have experienced some level of success in their life. So I work mostly with women who have experienced some level of success in their life or in their career. So this is maybe a woman in business like me, or an entrepreneur, or a successful woman in the executive who has gotten to that place where they feel stuck and they feel unfulfilled, and they want to be able to do all of these things that I talk to you about, heal, transform their relationship, and literally have it all. So if you're not at that place where you're like, I want to have it all, I have some level of success, but I feel like I want more, I want it all. I want to have the relationship, I want to have the health, I want to have the wealth without compromising anything, because all of these are important to me, then you are a perfect fit.
All right. I will be sure to push every link that we've talked about or we've not talked about, where it would be practically possible for you to connect with Sonita. Depending on where you're at, you may be in a different place. So wherever you're watching this from, whether it's on Best Kept Secret as a podcast, whether it's on the channel, on the YouTube channel, whether it's in another place, simply check in the show notes and there should be as many links as possible to access Sonita. If you would love her session for free, which I wouldn't even tell you what she charges because she's not cheap, then you want to use Prima and Sonita in the form when you have the question, where did you hear about this from? That way you can get yourself a free session, and she'll help you with whatever she can in that session, and hopefully help you move an inch into the life that you want. Sonita, I have had so much fun. I am glad we opened this topic of inner healing. I know a lot of people just like me don't know about this work. And I am so grateful for Florence and the work you've done for her. And I wish for everyone on the planet to learn about your work. So if you're watching this and you're going, I know someone who needs this, please do me a favor. 1, subscribe. 2, rate this episode. 3, share it with one person that you know needs this healing. Someone in an abusive relationship, someone in a very bad health condition that doesn't seem to get better, someone that has plateaued in their business, someone that is successful but unhappy. Share this episode. It will be my honor that we bless more people with Sonita's work, because I truly believe that her work changes life. I truly believe that her work needs to be discovered on this planet. I appreciate you hanging out with us today, and I will see you on the next episode.